Hey everybody, so welcome to our first video lesson of the school year. The first one is all about lines. This was like chapter 2 of pre-calculus. We just kind of skipped over it because it's a little bit boring. So you might remember our good old friend the slope formula, y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. And then right next to it, there's another way I want to talk about it. It's delta y and delta x. That little triangle thing is a delta. And what it means is change. And we're going to use that delta symbol a lot in calculus. So I thought I'd throw it in here. And it's just like the change of y and the change of x, delta y, delta x. So if we wanted to use this formula in a more interesting way than we've done in the past, one thing that we could do is we could try to figure out an x that's going to get us the slope that we're looking for. So we take our two y values. So we go 2 minus this negative 2. So I got this one and this one over the x values. But one of the x values I don't know. And we want this to end up being 2. Well, this is now an equation that we can choose to solve. So we're going to make this into a 4 over x plus 8 equals 2. And now we got to solve. I'm going to flip both sides of the equation. So we're going to make this one half. We're going to make this x plus 8 over 4. Multiply both sides by 4 and add 8. Let's see, so that's going to be 2. No, it's got to subtract 8. So multiply both sides by 4 is 2 minus 8. So we get negative 6. So that's the x value that they're looking for. Hey. Next one that we're going to look at is slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. It's our favorite, so it's real quick and simple. You can take your slope, that's your m value. Still don't know why they use m for slope. You can write negative 1x, probably easier, just write negative x. And then our b, our y-intercept, where it's crossing our y-axis, the up and down line, is 2. Oh, equals, what am I putting equals there for? Plus 2. So we want to write a general equation for the line through the 2 points. So first thing I want to know is slope, because we've been doing slope. So let's take care of that first. So our slope of this thing is going to be 1 minus 1 over 2 minus 1. So that's 0 over 1. So my slope is just 0. So that's just one of those horizontal lines. So since my slope is 0, I know it's just going to have a y value. It's going to stay 1 the whole time because it has a slope of 0. It's just a flat line. Now, our all-purpose one, the one that's not easy to graph, but it really helps us write equations, is point-slope form. You just take a point, plug it into the x1 and the y1, and you take a slope, plug it in for m, boom, you got yourself an equation. We've got our basic stuff. This y is always going to be a y. I'll leave a little space for my y1 and my m. We're going to take our point P, that's 1 and 1. We're going to put them into the x and the y spots. And then our slope is also 1. So then that's done. We've got a point slope equation for that line that goes through the point P and has a slope of m. That easy. Next, parallel and perpendicular. So parallel lines, same slope. Perpendicular lines have opposite reciprocal slopes was the fancy word that we used for it. Really, you just flip it upside down and change the sign. So if we wanted to have an equation through P that is parallel to L and perpendicular to L, really, if it's parallel to L, we want to have the same slope as L. So here our M is going to be negative 1. We want to be perpendicular to L. We want to be opposite reciprocal of that thing. So we know it's going to be positive instead of negative because we're going to change that sign. And then we're going to flip it. But 1 over 1, when you flip it, it's still 1 over 1. So our slope is just going to be 1. Now it said write an equation and it's got to go through P, and P is at 0. So that is a y-intercept. So 0. So I can just use that to write my two equations. The B for both of these equations is going to be 0. So the first one, the parallel one, it would be y equals my slope, which is -1, so negative x, plus 0, but that seems a little silly to write plus 0, so it's just y equals -x. To do the perpendicular one, it's just y equals positive x. Done. Cool. So that is it for today. So I'm going to always end with a slide like this. This is the TLDR version of everything that we talked about today. So things that we talked about in this video were the slope formula, parallel and perpendicular lines, and then the different ways that you can look at the equation of a line. You can use slope-intercept form, you can use general form, you can use point-slope form, vertical and horizontal, all that jazz. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.